Today's video is going to be about how much I saved to purchase my 2020 Dodge Charlie SKULLSCAT, as you can tell by the seats. What is up, YouTube? It's your boy Dregatsby coming at y'all with another banger. And this video is going to go much more into detail about finances. When you are first copping a car, bro, I want you to know that it's much bigger than just liquid cash. Because if you do not have credentials on the back end, such as credit, it's extremely hard for a dealership to be able to vouch for you if you're not paying the car out in cash completely. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm 23, bro. I'm not buying a car cash, but I also wasn't like one of those Copart boys. But I give credit to the Copart boys because, bro, that takes a lot of time, effort, energy, and emotion into actually understanding how to fix up cars from Copart. That makes sense. So to start off, I want to say credit is most important because I ultimately had to use money from my personal finances to build my credit credentials, my credit resume. If you're thinking and you are confused on what I'm talking about, you have to know that it's not just about cash when you're going to purchase cars like these. These cars are extremely expensive, and it's not easy for you to just go into a dealership and say, I have 30,000 cash and I would like to buy this 2020 Dodge Challenger car. A lot of y'all don't know, but I did not come from actually having a car before this. Credit car. Every car that I had was purchased in cash, and that is extremely important because if you understand that you need to have a credit resume, you need to have finances on the back end that you can use to vouch for you when purchasing a big lump sum purchase such as a car. About to go get some exercise, and I'm gonna finish this video when I get back. Peace. Oh, YouTube. So back to what we was talking about. I ain't even get active on the court yet, but let me tell y'all something real quick. So if you are interested in buying one of these cars, I want you to go study fair credit laws, bro. Damn. Go study fair credit laws because you can get to understand how important it is to have credit, and understanding that it's not all about cash. Cash gets you far, but only so far. And when you got credit, you can do anything you want in this world. So with that being said, I ultimately had a 700 credit score when I was going to buy my whip. Not saying that you have to do that, but when it comes to higher the credit score, that means the better interest rate you're gonna get if you're not buying the car out cash. So the higher the credit score, the lower interest rate. The lower interest rate, the less you have to pay monthly because you've proven that you are reliable. You are reliable to make your payments on time, and then it shows that you've obviously paid something off in the past. What I mean by pay something off in the past, I mean personal loan, auto loan, or installment loans, whatever the case may be. But you just proved yourself into big time corporate institutions that you can pay things off like this. And don't get it twisted. Don't think it's boring or anything or it's lame. It is very important because if you pay a car off like this, you want like a napkin or something? Nah, this good. If you pay off a car like this or any car or make big purchases one time, you ultimately get double the buying power in the long game. So don't sleep on credit, bro. Go study credit laws, fair credit. If you go and you buy a car and you have consistent cash flow, you have check stubs, etc., and you go and buy a car, that's going to be a fire way for you to build credit because you are building rapport with the banks, credit unions, etc. If you don't have any credit, or you have a problem with figuring out how to build credit, this is literally going to help you because you have no other way to build credit. If you don't know how to actually use credit cards, things like that, then you have other ways to build credit, such as personal loans, you have car loans, you have mortgage, etc. But I'm young, bro. I don't have, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know these things, so I learned it, and I just want to give the gems to y'all. So yes, you can build credit by having a auto loan set up for you to pay every month. This is a great way to build credit because not only do you make consistent payments on your car, you can double your asking power. So say if I have a car that's worth $25,000 and I go and I make consistent payments, I get approved for this car, I drive off the lot with my whip, I'm making payments on this car for that $25,000. Bro, 6 months, a year down the line, or at least cut the term in half, you will be able to literally buy a car double the price of that. Obviously your credit matters, but you're gonna have a much higher chance of getting a car double the price of the current one you have by making those consistent payments and by actually going through with the $25,000 car, which is cheaper. But the main thing you want to go and do is make sure you are on point with your payments, bro. You don't want to be missing payments. You don't want to be just lackadaisical, missing a few months, missing a few days, bro. Because when I tell you, them boys will go to collections. If you miss your payments, bro, them boys will go to collections. That's not really what you want to do, because the bureaus, they don't forget that stuff, bro. Late payments, they do not forget, bro. So if you are not on top of it, you definitely should be on top of it. This is just car talk right now. This is a car channel, so there's a lot of other things that go into detail when it comes to credit and things like that, but we're talking about specifically cars right now. So number one is going to be building credit, bro. The next thing is literally going to be, when you make a big purchase, it forces you to show up and maintain that big purchase. You don't want to lose it. You just paid all this money for this car and you about to lose it? No. So you're going to get your butt up and you're going to go to work and you're going to show up daily for the things that you want to keep. If you don't want to have your girl hopping in a Honda, you much rather you much rather ride in luxury, have your girl hopping out a Scat or having her hop out a Benz, you're probably going to do what you have to do to maintain and keep that Benz in your possession. You don't want nobody to come knocking on your door like, hey man, we got to tow this car away, you missed 7 payments. You don't want nobody to do that, so you're going to do what you have to do to keep showing up to the party, bro. You're going to do what you have to do to keep having that cash flow coming in, and that's what your mindset should be focused on, because at the end of the day, nobody is going to do this junk for you, bro. Nobody is going to do this junk for you. Let me fix my camera real quick. And that's honestly one that's very important, because a lot of people think that you have to penny pinch for the rest of your life, and that's how you save your way to wealth. This is going to lead over to our next point, but I'm not finished with the motivation point. You need motivation when you are on your journey. Now, there's other ways, there's other things that people do, you know, to satisfy their motivation. And one of mine is cars. I love cars. I genuinely love cars, and it's for me. It's for me. So let's not get it confused. There's nothing wrong with having a vice or having a thing that, you know, takes a lot of money away from you. It's being aware of those things and really just understanding yourself and how to fully take advantage of those things and make it a positive and not a negative. That's going to lead us to our next point, which is monetizing your passions. If you can purchase a vehicle and monetize it, then your passion has so much sweetness added on top of it. If you buy a car and you go and make YouTube videos about it, if you buy a car and you go rent it out because you have an additional car that you could use while the other car that you just bought is being rented out, you're literally monetizing your passions. You found a love for cars and you decided, hey, I'm going to have this car, I bought it, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to rent it out, and eventually I'm going to get to the point where I have multiple and I have a full rental car company. And the reason why that is tough, bro, hopefully this glare is not like throwing off the cam, bro. Like, why is it like that right now? That's crazy, bro. Like, the sun has never been behind me in my video, bro. Like, what the heck is that? That's weird. But your thought process about your purchases is literally going to determine how it plays out. The outcome is going to be determined by your mind state. If I'm buying a car and it's very expensive, I'm going to think about how I can monetize it. I just gave you 2 ways to monetize a vehicle. Now, it's either you take that and you say, I wonder what's another way I can monetize my car that I just bought. This bitch is $40,000. And the reason why you're supposed to think like that is because you never want to just conform. Oh, I'm out of luck. I bought this car. I don't know what to do with it. The rush that I was getting from hopping in it and, you know, hearing that loud exhaust, you know, experiencing that fast, high amount of horsepower, it ran out. Now you're like, what am I gonna do? You don't want to be in that position, because that's a tough position to be in. If you are still watching this video, bro, make sure you smack the like button, gang, and let's go comment that number 8 in the comment section, because that is the number of abundance. That's all we see. We on a mind state. We have a mindset of abundance. We know that opportunities continue to come to us. Thank you, God, for everything. Literally nothing without you, and that's the reason why we're here right now. You dig? Cars not only are able to be monetized, they are also attention grabbers. Now, that comes with good attention and it comes with bad attention. It depends on how you move. It depends on how you go about it. If you buy a car and you are a realtor and you pull up in a nice clean car, you know, that's going to be much more appealing. It's going to grab 10 times more attention, and that can either help you or it can hurt you. The reason and the way it can help you, they will think that, man, this guy has a clean car. He looks as if he's doing well for himself. Why wouldn't I want to invest my money with him, as he knows how to take care of himself? He cares about how he drives. That means he cares about his people. He cares about the small things. And when people see these things, they think more highly of you, because first impression is everything. Looks matter, yes. Appeal, the way somebody looks at you matters a lot. And you want to be able to grab attention and hold attention, because the attention that you grab is going to be the reason why you are in position to call shots. You know, let's be honest here. Your girl probably likes you more because of your car. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, hopping out the whip, and your shorty will tell you, like, bro, I feel good hopping in your car. Like, I feel like beautiful hopping in your car. Like, I feel like a princess. I love being your passenger seat princess. Bro, that goes a long way, because, you know what I'm saying? You can't let that get to your head, but you got to understand, bro. People like attention, bro. People like attention. They like when other people like you. You see what I'm saying? So if you're in traffic, you pull up at a red light, bro. This happened to me literally all the freaking time. I'm in my car, I'm just cruising, bro. I'm a laid back dude. I'm in my car, I'm just cruising, bro, and another scat, a hellcat, pull up next to me, and they're revving their engines, bro, giving me thumbs up, bro. Just kind of just like, hey, man, that car is clean. And like, that literally made her feel good. Like, I can see she's smiling, bro, and I'm just calm. So she's like, bro, this like, you know what I'm saying? It's just the small things that really just, you know, helps you out in the long run. I gave you one example, but you can kind of understand where I'm going with this. And that is very important, because doors literally open more. More doors open when you have an appealing aura to you. You know, you literally harness aura by having good, nice things, and it's 10 times better when you don't let it get to your head. If you're the type of person that is OD, like you only are driven by materialistic things, and you have like no morals, things like that, you're not going to be, it's going to be hard for you in the long run. You know what I'm saying? But the people that actually rule the world, and the people that you don't see that's really have emotion, are the people that's have emotion, but they don't let it get to their head. Like, you won't even know to phase them, because they know that, you know, keeping their attention on the Most High is the most important thing for you to do, because just as you can be given all of those things, bro, they can be taken away in a matter of a second, bro. So it's really no point in glorifying those things. It's really important to keep your attention on the Most High. And that's gonna lead us to our next point. If you can get it one time, you can get it again. So it kind of ties into the motivation point, that if you got what you desire, if you got the car that you wanted, bro, you're going to be able to get 10 times more things in life. You know, you just built a confidence muscle. You just built a manifestation muscle. Like, you bought the car you wanted, especially if you did it with no cosigner and things like that. If you are able to do it one time, you can do it multiple times. Like, there's literally nothing in this world that you can't have. So if you copped it once, bro, you're gonna be able to cop double the price of what you copped one time. And that's the best feeling ever. So showing up and, you know, working daily, saving 10% of your earnings, putting your money up into accounts that you can't really touch. That can be a down payment. That can be for a house. That can be a down payment for a car, just to cut down the rate on that vehicle, etc. Especially if you're younger. A lot of things go into play with cars, bro. But just saving your bread, bro. Putting money up that you cannot touch. Putting your money in the shoebox. However you go about saving, bro. And then you can buy your dream car. And that's, I pretty much just gave y'all valid points as to why you would even want to drive your dream car, because it adds to your life, not just takes away how the old sports try to dish it to you. Man, go put that money in the Roth IRA. Go put that money in a 401k, man, so you can be set up when you're 65. Bro, I'm only going to be 20 one time, and I'm only going to be driving a SRT at 20 years old one time in my life. Why would I pass on that to go put my money in a Roth IRA? That's probably not even actually in that account. It's over in somebody else's trust over in freaking Utah or somewhere, but it looks like you have that money in that account. The point I'm getting at is, bro, you have to literally do what you want to do in this life. It's your life for a reason. Nobody else is gonna live it. If I gotta drive my car every single day, why wouldn't I want to drive luxury or driving style? If I can understand where I'm going with my cars and what I'm doing with my cars, then why would it matter what anybody else has to say? It doesn't matter.